Hi.
Hello, Andrew.
Hi.
Hi, it's Adam.
Hi.
How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, better than what I've been. The change is just starting to be tolerable for me.
Repeat words, really?
Okay. How's that been? What was the change? What was the difference for you?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What has become more tolerable for you?
Hotel.
Okay, so you're living in a hotel now?
Yeah, I got arrested for using my coping skills, lavender oil diffuser, a few weeks ago. And yeah, you can't get arrested. I've been told for it. Who are my public defenders, everything, and they can't. And court closed that first week of me being homeless with a bad head injury. I don't like meltdowns. They scare me, and then they got beaten up by police because of it.
Beat up by police?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, did I tell a third person again? Is that what you asked?
You did.
Oh, come
You
on.
did.
I don't like that. Sorry.
Well, you don't have to apologize to me. It's okay.
I'm smart. I'm smart and still want.
Yes, you are. Yep, I know. So you had a meltdown
on group home for me, but they get coronavirus. The people she's trying to get hold of, like People Inc. and community services for everyone isn't answering or getting back to her.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Do they have to put me in a noisy group home like those?
Well, what do you think would be a better option? Is there a better option?
Group home.
Yeah, group home.
I'm excited and scared of the change at the same time. And my friend Joanne had said how she seen me when the one time in jail last year, March, for a meltdown. That she never seen me as good and everything. I love routine and structure.
Yeah.
And then when I was the only shelter that ever helped me community mission Niagara Falls, they helped me a lot, and I was just too much need for them. Had to have a lot of one of only two staff members help me constantly with routine and reminders and things. And
I can tell.
I'm smart, but why can I not remember use coping skills and take a shower and stuff and take medicine? But
I'm really struggling with my language. Wow, can tell.
Or even eat, or even be potty trained. Yeah, and I can remember I was just emailing John Hitchcock and Tom Fries from the National Weather Service tonight online Skywarn training session. And I love weather and amateur meteorologist and Skywarn storm spotter, but emailed them instead of registering because right now Andy, wow. Registered into end of next year for being a spotter for them.
Oh, wow.
And I emailed to John, if I'm on with the online training session, you better get the tornado that you always use in your classes of the May 31st, 1985 tornado, and the proper time, nonetheless, 3:25 p.m. How can I remember things like that? And that happened 8 days before my birth. How come I can't remember things that are simple like everyone else can do? And then why is writing easier for me? And then that
Yeah, I'm not sure.
speech is scripting a lot. And I hated speech. But it helped me a lot, and it just was stressful. But they were teaching me at like a 9-year-old level, and they want to go lower, but they don't want to go lower because it'll be baby issues sad for me. And then my dad wouldn't even follow through home therapies, which, by the way, I forgot to say hi, how are you? Telling they were trying to work up with speech.
Okay.
And they want me to use that app, and I don't like using that app because the way Dad treated me, and when younger, how to have computer talk, and how Dad yells at me for that because he had bankrupt, and of you buying that computer program and the diaper issue.
I'm really struggling with language.
I don't.
What app are you talking about?
What app? Speech wants me to use an AAC app.
Oh, okay.
It makes you understand people because what she said, auditory processing disorder, but social skills, greetings, asking for help politely, because a lot of times it sounds like Andy's threatening or demanding things, and it's not how I want to present myself.
Right, good.
And asking for
God, I
everything that
can't
she was
get the
working on with
word out.
me. That is a really hard part. The point of view thing. And
Sorry, Adam. This is struggling watching myself talk or listening to myself talk. And I remember thinking words differently, and then I just can't get them out. Why words hard for me to get out? Is that expressia that they were saying in speech? It's annoying because Andy thinks words, then I just have trouble getting them out, and then they have trouble moving my mouth at times to get them out. I don't like it. I don't like language. And I don't know where I was at on there.
psych class in school. Oh, how does Martin for charges that just don't people be happy people? Not how I want. Asking for help politely. Because a lot of times it sounds like Andy's threatening or demanding things. And it's not how I want to present myself.
Right, good.
And asking point of view thing that she was working on with me. That is the really hard part, the point of view thing. And when can I learn how to share information from you and other people? This is not all about me, and maybe hates my dad saying that. And then I hate offending people. I just want people to be happy and not scared of me. And then Andy always friends with lawyers and everything else, and Ted just don't do it because I just want someone to listen and pay attention to me and help me. It's not, and then there was my communication problem, and then you in jail they worked with a developmental therapist the first 2 times in there for charges that they keep dropping because there's no crime or intent on these things. And the developmental therapist had worked with me and Dr. Martin on a replacement program of I want to kill myself, type comments that they said it was a language problem. And how does a doctor know whether or not they're, especially in jail setting, my knowledge of mental health, you can never take that lightly, You can never do that. You have to take that seriously. At least that's what was taught in health class and psych class in school. I mean, for a doctor to take a chance on that, let alone in jail, that was huge. But went to a better unit because he kept on feeling it's like my communication problem. And then I was a lot better in that unit because it was only 3 other beds and had time out instead of always in my cell. But I loved it in jail. And then they did the ADA therapy thing that I learned that they use in school and I never knew that was ADA therapy. And they gave me high fives for doing good and worked with my meltdowns and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they give
And then they helped me use my teddy bear as part of therapy, which they used a blanket with me to give myself bear hug. And then I had to get back using my teddy bear again. At least this time I'm not just carrying it along with me. I just give myself a bear hug. And that pressure actually helps me, and actually I learned a term. It actually is a dopamine release.
Yeah, like a butterfly hug.
And the weighted blanket helps me in that vest. And then everybody wanted me to get a weighted blanket, but they were just so expensive. And then when had all the issues with my dad started really bad, had I actually bought my first weighted blanket, the very first overnight, Andy slept through a very bad thunderstorm, actually just south of Tonawanda, which would have been in West Seneca, not West Seneca, but Chittiwalla, the fairgrounds tornado morning. Remember that? A few years ago? And they ended up, that thunderstorm was so loud, and I slept right through it. And normally I wake up, when I'm already awake or just about getting awake, and that weighted blanket helps me sleep. And yet my dad couldn't even believe, how come Andy's not up here yet? He kept asking my mom that, apparently. I didn't know that until after the storm was over with, that there was a tornado warning. And my weather radio normally wakes me up. That's something that actually wakes me up, is my weather radio. But I actually slept right through the whole thing. And that's when I said, okay, I gotta get fast. I mean, it's not like I never had a teddy bear or earmuffs, and there was a long time that Andy didn't have earmuffs. I just didn't want to look different.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go back with that because I don't like meltdowns. And you can only prevent meltdowns, you can't stop them. It's like a cat in the bag. You can't see its way out. That's the term I use, and that's my out-of-box thinking. And then I had people help me write some things and learn my history where all of these struggles came from, and the triggers and the behavior regression, and they were all similar to what Andy went through the last 2 years. How my dad or a routine change or something happening in my life that, like when younger, this is where I had my friend that I really would really love to get back to talking with her. She's a developmental pediatrician. She lives in California, but she had given me a consent so she can actually get my records, so she can actually look at a lot of them. She saw how when around 7 years old or so, when I don't know where she got those records, was been told half of my records were deleted somehow. I don't know how true that is, but around 7 years old, there was, between 5 and 7, she saw how there was a little regression, or at least on my school records. And then there was, then went to Connors, and then had a little issue there, and then after Connors, had issue at 12, and then at 14, and then at 16, and then up until 24, and then my best years were from like 25 to a few years ago, 4 years ago.
So what was different about from 25 to a few years ago?
I had both my mom and dad home more often, had more things to do to keep busy, worked part-time. Well, actually, did not work all that time because I haven't worked since 2012 because of my shoulder issue. And at the time, Andy was trying to get into group home, was promised group homes on a regular basis, was advised if you get if you go back to work, you lose your Medicaid, like, you know, but you lose your SSI then.
Right.
So I've been promised group homes, but never ever had been offered them. And
You never lived in a group home, huh?
no, and
No.
they kept. I have like 50 like SPOL referrals. I had to talk to the new SPOL director on this that replaced Andrew Daring apparently, Carly or Kara, whatever her name is. And she said all my SPOL referrals were below a 1 score, which means you would never get a group home, she said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Why? Why was that?
I don't know. And then Andy don't even qualify for it based on what she said, based on what my past, diagnosis. She just kept on saying OPWDD, like Andrew Daring said. Why? What are my diagnoses other than the autism thing?
Well, let me check what Dr. Paula diagnosed you with here. Let me see.
And at least I'm away from my dad. And,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I love it on my own, I'm just unable to care for myself. I'm smart. And then crossing streets is something that's scary for me, not even in a meltdown. Because, Andy, I have a very hard time judging the speed and stuff and distance of a car. I already got hit by a car once. I don't want to get hurt.
Right. Well, she's got adjustment disorder, sensory disorder, ruling out autism, rule out sensory processing disorder, rule out ID, rule out schizoaffective disorder.
What does that mean?
The last one, the schizoaffective, that's similar to schizophrenia.
Yeah, so I know what that is, but she's saying I have it or no?
Well, she's saying rule out. That's a rule out.
What does that mean?
That she wants to do further analysis and try to see if you do actually have it.
What is ID that no? I think, please, if she said Andy has ID, that's sad. I know what that means now. It took me a while to understand that. Intelligence disorder, retarded? No.
Really? It's all on my
that.
record. I don't have symptoms to that. What about the autism thingy or sensory problems?
Yeah, she's saying rule out for those as well.
Which means she wants further testing, even though Andy had the testing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And this is where I'm so confused about that sensory disorder, because ECMC said it was part of my autism.
Mm-hmm.
And then my primary doctor had taken off that diagnosis and said it's actually, from what ECMC had said, it was part of my autism, but he kept the receptive and expressive language disorder. And then he never put the auditory processing disorder, which is my first diagnosis, but you can't have schizophrenia and ADHD. That's why Dr. San Maria's first test was, declined. I owe $6,000 for that bill. The second test that he did. And then Andy understands how that could be very easily confused. It was my thought process issue,
Yeah.
And that's where, if you look at my school record, it was a term called handicapped learner, which my understanding from way it was written, and on the DSM-5 and what my friend said, that's a cognitive developmental delay, that diagnosis, with the other learning disabilities. And then my language problem, I always had language problems, all my life. Andy didn't start talking until 9 years old. Didn't start saying 3-word phrases until 12, and that's what my mom even told Dr. Naylor.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at my autism testing, isn't that pretty bad, those scores?
That's what I thought, and I
And
looked
then
at
if
it,
you
yeah.
and then if you look at my struggles, this is where my friend actually. This is where I'm going to have to guide you to look at this. As I don't know the stuff. That just came from one doctor that is even able to practice in New York State because she's licensed and insured in California. That's where my knowledge comes to play, and I'm so glad I'm in a more relaxed environment. That there's a pattern
Oh
of my
God,
behavior
I can't see your
and
locks.
regressions to triggers, and their
Environment?
stereotype, whatever that really means. What does that mean when they say stereotype?
Stereotype, well, it's like,
It's not a type of stereo. That'll be like kind of like weird.
no, it's not like a stereo, but it's like,
I know what the
people
repetitive term means, and that's where she said it was a stereotype and repetitive type behaviors to the same triggers or similar triggers.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's what people judge as normal. The stereotype is what people normally judge as what the norm is.
Okay. See, I don't know. I mean, you just really threw me out where I don't really understand. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got it now. What he means by normal.
Yeah, it's
But
kinda hard
maybe
to-
it's also like, if you tell me what that is and what like what I've been told by my speech therapist when I was in speech
such a
bubble speech
retard
center.
understanding that.
Be careful of this is where she saw how
Adam, sorry, I need to got what you mean by stereotype being the normal. I got it now because the stereotypes of colored people and everything. I got it now. I'm sorry, Adam, for being retarded. I'm sorry. Language's not easy for me, but I'm very smart still.
ECMC may have assumed that I was faking a lot of my problems because a lot of doctors tell me one thing and how it's autism, or what they said in school was the autism thingy. But then I go to the next doctor and then they're accusing me of looking things up online and stuff. And then Andy's not doing that to fake anything. I mean, I'd rather have that schizoaffective disorder diagnosis. Can you teach me how to hear voices and be delusional?
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
And then you can get a group home really quickly, I've been told, because OMH group homes, they're only 2-year stay time, and you should have already known your life skills having a mental illness, unless you have a learning disability or autism with it, been told, or other developmental problems.
Okay, one slide.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she is ruling that out. I mean, it doesn't seem, I don't know, but I don't see that coming from you, but maybe she's seeing something that I don't see.
Or maybe like what my friend that had said, that a lot of these doctors, once they already get a diagnosis, such as that or bipolar or whatever that else is on the record, they all look at the records and then they say, then they see how all that is, how that's going to interfere with it. That's why she had recommended, even after the Dr. Naylor assessment, she really strongly recommended another set of testing. So the Dr. Hamilton at OPWDD and Dr. Hamilton recommended at Peep Link, where my first test, the last test was supposed to be set before Dr. Naylor, but Dr. Booth was a doctor there that was going to do the testing, so I got sick with cancer. And my test was set up September 28th. And then they had a test set up the day before Andy got arrested last February. So it's not like I'm refusing testing. And then there was a test set up by Dr. Anger in the end of May last year. But that one, she felt she was not the right kind of the right person to do the testing. And then to find out that from Dr. Naylor that he what can I put in words? That Dr. Hamilton had reached out to him and he normally only does the testing for kids. And that's where I'm like, wow, that's weird. And then I'm able to remember all this stuff and how I'm scripting all my language, and it's how it's making me appear like if it was apparently way my speech therapist said that is when I argued that picture test did not test my overall language, and I had argued the severity after I found out on how severe my language problem is. And I kept on telling her that, and she said the one day when I was really upset about language and had a meltdown in speech, the one about the learning the feelings of other people, she had said, she pulled my dad into the room that day, and we had talked about it, and she told me how I articulate my words very well, as if I'm repeating myself from like a book or internet source or encyclopedia, and that appears as if I'm scripting, because it's obviously that I don't have a language like that when they test me, and I only understand certain requests and things that are familiar to me to respond to them. And she had, told, said that that's how I'm appearing to either faking or passing. And I didn't even understand what passing was until Andy saw a YouTube video on that. When I was just trying to show my dad some things on what is autism and stuff, And why would somebody want to fake my problems and have meltdowns? That scared me, and that's out of my control. I don't like meltdowns. They scare me and other people. And then they hurt me and other people. It's just something I don't like. I don't want. And no medicine helped me. And then my dad kept on saying how Andy was on medicine, I was much better. Well, what medicine was I able to take without having help? And Andy never had help from my parents taking medicine, even when younger.
No, they never helped you?
No, and that's where I don't think my medicine really made a difference, because Andy was never able to take my medicine properly. Yeah, when I did take the Abilify, here and there, it did help a lot, but with the sensory problem and anxiety, but Abilify doesn't treat schizophrenia. It was great for schizophrenia, but it doesn't have any effect because it does the opposite of your brain chemistry. Now, if you're talking about Risperdal, one of the medicines that Andy can't take, one of the laundry medicines, that actually made my problems worse, that treats the schizophrenia.
Okay, right.
Because my problem is where sensory problems and anxiety, your serotonin is high. If my serotonin was low, Andy would be depressed, with the hallucinations and stuff like that.
But you don't have those problems.
No. And then your dopamine would be high with schizophrenia, which my dopamine is actually low. And that's why the Abilify helped, where Risperdal didn't help me, and the other medicines and mood stabilizers, forget them. Even the ones Andy's not allergic to, I can't take because I'm afraid to hurt people with those medicines. Those medicines did not help, and they made me really aggressive and agitated. I don't like this feeling of being in fear of meltdowns and fear of hurting myself. It really hurts. Yeah. And then Andy gets arrested for it, and the only time I ever had it's okay and the type thing for melting down was with actually helping me learn how to do it was actually in jail.
I know.
And in jail they normally they don't like, I don't know how to put in words, they actually work with me on it. Even when I had a meltdown or a bad meltdown, they were okay with that. And they were just trying to encourage me. And then in ECMCC, but they called me fake and everything. And Andy just wanted to get help, so I staged suicides and everything, and just trying to make things worse is to try to get a group home. And then they call me a fake. And then they tell me there's nothing wrong with me. And then Andy has the sensory problems in there. And then I don't even get the help that I should be getting. And then I have meltdowns because they don't even help me with it. They just let me do it. And then for John, the other patient that you guys have that has autism like me, had to help me, remind me to breathe. I need to breathe now that I thought about that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That was a good idea.
I don't like meltdowns. I started to realize I was going into one. I actually started seeing I was stimming a little bit more, tapping myself. I don't like meltdowns. And I'm not aware of my warning signs like the tapping or stimming. And that tapping thing is something they did in jail with me, behavior replacement thing.
Mm-hmm. But the last time that you had a meltdown was when exactly?
Bad one or meltdown? Or any meltdown?
Any meltdown.
Yesterday I had a bad one.
You had a bad meltdown yesterday?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I was just trying to I didn't realize I was recording when I went into a meltdown of, one of my, video, things I was talking to my dad, one of his recordings, and had a bad meltdown, but I know you can only prevent meltdown, so I called crisis services before the, thunderstorm hit, because knowing thunderstorms cause issues with me, even though I love weather. So I called them, and that lady had helped me with my meltdown.
Yeah.
I had a hard time understanding what you were saying. I don't think I understood it properly about the meltdown question. And I remember having trouble, like, what were you really talking or asking about? Sorry. And I was taking my medications and following my routine board, so that's why I was busy there.
It did feel really sad on Saturday because I had, sad is something that's very rare for me, but there's one person on YouTube and on Facebook constantly harasses me and calls me a fake and everything else, and all these very mean, nasty comments she says to me. And then to find out it's my cousin's wife.
Oh.
And that's not right at all because she doesn't even know me. That my dad's family doesn't even talk to anybody because everybody in my family, on both my mom's side and dad's side, had pretty much disowned my family. Because how Andy was treated. And then I had my next door neighbor stick up for me, and I made that recording public on how I was locked out at before 5 years old every time when I had problems. And then Andy don't like recording people. It's just that I trust too many people. And then Andy has my dad, using, I had to show you, let me read what I wrote. I'll try to, this is what I record. There's a lot of people, and I trust way too many people. I trust my dad way too many times. Let me see here. This was also on YouTube. I use my app to help me write one of the other AEC apps that helps me read online, like online content, PDF files, and I can type longer paragraphs. I asked, how I don't want my dad to be my caregiver, and how the Tauntaun wanted to please couldn't arrest my dad when Andy had asked him not to come near me over the weekend because he's my caretaker, he's my payee, he's ordered to do this stuff to help me. And I don't want to have a caregiver, I need one. I don't choose to have someone do things for me or help me or teach me things that people at 34 should already know. I don't want to be in diapers anymore. I want to learn to use the potty. I don't want dad around me. I want a group home, please. I don't want a caregiver. Andy just wants someone teach me these things that I just struggle learning. And it's multitasking things that I'm struggling with that I'm starting to see that I'm really struggling on. I do not want to be denied help from self-injury behavior because of court orders or my family never once had ever wanted to help me with this. My entire life was around fixing me, medicating me, and abandoning me and neglecting me and my needs and denying me my plan for my home therapies and providers like stressful speech therapy last fall, counseling, routine, use of language and not yell at me, blame me, degrade me, devalue me. To have 1 minute that they are not going to help me get a ride to my appointment, then the very next time I go downstairs to call my provider, I would see that my dad or my mom when younger would be right there to say I was lying I was going to be a few minutes late, and then yell at me for eating anything. They choose what I am to eat, when I'm to eat, and how, and the have all kinds of food. So when I call police, they are found the reliable source, then threaten me that I will punch you in the fucking face, like my dad said last September 2018, and hurt my ears. Took my calling a lawyer because I wanted my dad to stop doing that and be arrested. The day that it took 4 months, by the way, to have my dad arrested for that. Even though Andy recorded that, it's my friend who's a lieutenant, my only friend that's non-virtual, Lieutenant Nathan Schultz had me do that. Start recording family and dad. And then 4 hours later, I was arrested for something that didn't happen the way it did. Because over and over, I needed to lie about people, or lawyer or police, or to convince my family to help me with getting my needs met. And then because of this habit, like the self-harm threats and the emptiness and the threats of emptiness because of my communication problem to get my needs met, I am not believed. Then dad loves to feed off of this. Plus, my communication problem and cognitive problem are easier to believe someone else other than myself. Dad is the only one who interacts with me 90% of the time. Mom sleeps in bed 20 hours a day. Joe is in his room addicted to his computer, noise cancellation headphones, to only be told by Dad that I called police on Dad again. The quickest time my mom gets dressed to be downstairs to verify as if she and Joe saw the entire event, as if Dad was the victim to abusing me. And make things worse, Mom takes 1 or 2 hours to even get up, dress, and eat dinner. Then other than when the police are called. Then I only call police because I don't have support in self-injury behavior that scares people. That scares me, and that's exactly what I wrote. Holy cow. That scares me so badly that I need to have help, to be afraid of possibly hurting others too, and then learn this is autism and how being degraded, mocked, blamed, intimidated by my dad and many City Town police officers, and many of them actually are side with me and try to help me, but a few of them just really are very evil people. And there's it's sad that I had to call this one person, Stephen Bentley, that way when his dad introduced a bear hug to me and my family, and that really helps me. And yeah, his dad is a retired detective. And and his son is a bully to people with autism, because my brother, just to let you know, and my non-virtual friends, my non-virtual friend Lieutenant Nathan Schultz, his cousin Adam Harris, it's hard to say his name. We're in the same class with my brother, and Stephen Bentley used to punish people with autism and blame it on their meltdown in public school. At least he gets to go to public school, and at least my brother was mainstream where Stephen wasn't. At least they went to public school, I didn't. Probably a good thing. Although, when Andy got made fun of for my diaper issue, I didn't understand it, if it was bad or not. That's one good thing. A lot of language, a lot of insults that my teacher said, why aren't you upset about? And I don't understand it, like being called flower boy. But then I get arrested for everything that Andy's done for, like coping skills or meltdowns or communication problems, and repeating my dad's words.
Yeah, but you're out of that environment now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're in a good place now to, try to work on some of these things on your own, and
yeah,
you don't have to worry about your father being malicious or anything like that.
And you know what my dad did the week that the last time I saw you, that week that I last saw you on, my dad was just there was only 2 good days I had, and that was after going to Walmart with him that evening that Andy got arrested, that put me in sensory overload where I had needed the oil diffuser to calm down. Crisis services, the one lady walked me through my coping skills because I have trouble with that.
Okay. Well, it's good that she walked you through it.
And then, I didn't have a meltdown for 2 days, and yet I get arrested for using coping skills. And then they came and put me in jail because, one, they don't even think that the judge and the lawyer the day said that they can't hold these charges up, but there was no DA in the office to even, drop the charges on my arraignment. So they let me go to the street, plus New York State law, and they didn't even have a place to go for a whole week, and out of hospitals with a head injury, couldn't walk really. And my dad just denied me food, shelter, my sensory things, diapers, and out of hospitals, and they kept sending me to the streets knowing there wasn't a DSS option or housing option, and then Andy was given a DSS option for this hotel stay that they had to fight to get me again, because last year we went through the same issue.
Okay.
The same hotel kicked me out last year because of my housing issue of not being able to care for myself, really. I'm smart.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you are. And I'm glad that you're safe, that you're in a...
And I got my star globe that I love watching. Why do I like things that spin? That's why I can't drive. The big reason why I can't drive, and the lines going by me on the street signs that have, like, speed signs, the numbers on them. Like, you see 55 miles per hour, and then you see a speed zone ahead sign. The very next sign is going to be reduced reduced speed, rather. But then Andy's like, Dad, what did that sign just say? Because I'm seeing the numbers, but it's not registering, or the license plate, or the mile markers that my brother has trouble with not looking at. My brother may have the autism too, by the way.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He actually he's able to work and drive, though. But I keep on telling him, Joey, you need to get testing this. You may need services on this stuff, too.
Yeah.
3 TBIs. And then I had a TBI this time, they said, because of my being thrown headfirst when in handcuffs. during that meltdown when police arrested me for using oil.
So they said that you got TBI with that?
What?
They said you had a TBI there?
Well, from the last time Andy was arrested on 12th, I was apparently thrown head first. I don't even remember, but that was one in a meltdown. Two,
Okay.
they had said that in court on my right. That's where my lawyer wanted to, hold these police officers accountable. It's getting ridiculous. Every time Andy's put back in my parents' house, and I was forced back in my parents' house. It wasn't like I had any other option. Police forced my dad to take me back in, and then my dad just doesn't want me there. Since 17 years old, I've been sleeping on the floor in my parents' living room because my brother kicks me out of my room. And then the diaper issue. And then I can't even have a place to stay. Let alone, I tried it on my own when younger, around 20, 22, something like that. But 90% of the time was at my parents' house. And the other 10% was at, like 8% or whatever the time was at, working on my only successful job before getting hit by a car at McDonald's. That had routine and structure and the same hours, same everything. Randy almost became manager there. But I struggle with that. I'm glad I didn't go that route because if a few fires I started there and had to have help getting out. And here's my job to oversee everyone else's safety if I got management. And here Andy needed help the 2 times I started a fire. And then one time, hitting the ansel button for the McDonald's grill by accident, those things are a mess. Those are like powder foam that spits out everywhere. And the one thing about McDonald's that you're going to love, their ansel system is automatic. They also have a manual pull tab. But if you go to Burger King or I got fired my first 3 shifts at Burger King because I pooped my diaper. And then he needed a little extra help cleaning and how long it took. And I was so embarrassed to go in the restaurants. I didn't bring, or in the kitchen area. It was a brand new job. And he needed to clean up first. So I was standing at the sink cleaning myself with all the paper towels they had. And then they fired me, but then they took me back because he won.
The other thing is, I couldn't even get out of words. Is where I remember this part. Adam, I know how to start. I know how to put out a fire, and he knows how to do it very well. Yet I never really done it before. But I'm sorry. Try again. If I had to write it. I know how to put it out. You start from the base, and I'll just reword it the way I have to. I know how to put out a fire. You spray the fire extinguisher around you and by the exit, so you can get out safely if you need to. And then you start at the base. You sweep back and forth, and you work yourself up to the top or to the base of the walls, and then you go up the walls if you need. If by that point, if it goes to the walls, you should call fire department and get out yourself. You shouldn't even fight that part. But I know how to fight the wall part because my nephew is a firefighter for Kenworth. And actually, I live not in his district. Think my area. Well, actually, the hotel would actually be what my mom would say would be a District 1 because it's a public area building. So both Sheridan Drive, Brighton, where my grandpa used to work, and my grandpa's friends. And speaking of that, I saw not Bob Stanford. I forget his brother's name's Chris or something like that. His twin brother. I saw walking around when I went walk around. I think he lives around here. I remember him living around here. That's the sad thing is when my grandpa took me to all his firefighter friends' houses and but fun stuff, fun stuff, fun stuff. But Kenworth, where my nephew would work, that's what I was trying to get out. Would be able to respond to this because it's a District 1 public place. But the sad thing is, this hotel room has no fire alarm, no CO2 alarm, no smoke alarm.
Other assistant managers was
Thank
going
God.
to school for psychology,
Fire alarm.
and he said that you can't fire him for doing this. He was in the bathroom. You know, there was an issue there.
Okay.
So I got hired back, and then they fired me 3 weeks later. Not even a month of, time there. And then, my 2 times at Wendy's, the first time Andy was, I don't know, of getting any type of job there because the manager kept feeling sorry for my issues and no one would help me, and the second time Andy had a little bit more success at Wendy's because they had more routine than my friend Mark when he was store manager. And then unfortunately the first 3 months in working there I hurt my shoulder. And then Andy was off for 6 or almost 8 months rather and then when they took me back, because how workers comp, they love to fight your time off, and Andy has surgery, and then I was kept on postponing surgeries. I hate surgery, so they hurt real bad and they're scary, and then had to then they only gave me 3 hours a week for light duty. And then they couldn't even accommodate my work light duty note, so they fired me for other reasons, which is discrimination, because you can't get fired if you're on light duty and they can't accommodate you. Sorry, I told my knowledge until the labor laws come. And then I was actually food safety certified when at McDonald's, like Sky1 Storm Spotter. You gotta be trained, you gotta be certified every 3 years for food for the Serve Safe certificate. Okay. But that actually helped knowing a lot of my biology on that test. By the way, because that was, even though I love Earth, weather and space stuff, more weather than space, I hated Earth science. I hated it. Plus, at that time, Andy was working at McDonald's, closing 2 nights a week. And by the time I got out of McDonald's was like 3 a.m. And then bus came at 6 to take me to school, and my IEP had me the last person picked up on the way to school and the first person dropped off. But I had hell time on buses. The time that my mom was told that they were going to try to give me a private van to school. Yeah, that was when younger. That was in language development years. But
all right, well, Andy, we got to wrap it up. I'm gonna have receptionist call you to schedule your next one with me. And what are you gonna do next week?
Okay, they'll give me something to do. And can I get group home? Letice is working on something with community service for everyone and People Inc.
Yes, yeah, I know that because we sent the psych eval over to her. So I think that's what she needed in order to initiate a referral.
Yeah.
So.
And then OPW, and then to learn the social service law. And I did talk to the lawyer on this one, by the way, that and in our county APS, actually verified this as well. They had said something about that APS can actually initiate the fair hearing sooner and placement sooner, but they never did. They're refusing me the placement or my fair hearing right of the intake denial. And then they're supposed to keep people like me safe, and then they tell the city of Town Place how Andy's been refusing placement and group homes. What placement group homes are offered? Shelters, streets, hotels, my parents, are those group homes?
No.
And I know my
He hasn't refused
I know my
Ever.
Medicare right that you have a right to refuse discharge from hospitals. Actually, ECMC refuses to give me my discharge signature anymore because Andy writes under duress unsafe discharge to these locations, and then they won't even give them to me anymore. Half these hospitals, when the last time with my head injury, they didn't even care. They just sent me out to the street. No one, there was no 211 or DSS option. And then to find out that they can't even do that with people with autism, let alone, then they can't even do, I don't know how to put in words, but they can't send anyone to the streets. They had to have a location. And then they call me hospital shopping and everything else. Well, I just want a place that can meet my medical need for my head injury. Last in the ER, which was the day that they gave me this room from DSS, was at Kim Mercy. And I didn't even know how I got to Kim Mercy. Because Andy spent the night at the park and at Elk Creek Park, and I didn't even know I was at Kim Mercy. I woke up there and I was like, how did I get here? That's pretty bad.
Well, yeah.
I actually noticed something. I was actually getting words out there at this point pretty well. Wow. It's taking to get to know somebody makes it easier to talk.
I'm gonna have Jermaine give you a call and we'll
And
set
then I
up the next
realized I
call.
had trouble telling you what I was trying to tell you. I'm sorry about the APS issue. But, they should be able to give me a fair hearing quicker. They can actually place people in OPDD group homes while they wait for their hearing, or they can make the hearing tomorrow, I've been told. But they need to, but they just deny it. And then I called them in a lie, by the way, because my crisis services advocate had made a comment to me last week when she called me that she was told by Richard Hassler, the intake director, that I didn't have a diagnosis to get a group home. And then she said that my dad's more than willing to bring me food. Well, at that point, my dad was refusing to give me my medications, food, everything. So I told my advocate, is this what you're going to be telling me? And played her a YouTube video. She couldn't even believe what. And then I called Richard Hassler and asked him, you're going to tell me a jury is going to believe you and APSL's offer group home, but yet you tell my crisis services advocate that Andy was never even offered a group home because I didn't have it.
I am such a freaking retard. Why do I tell a third person? Why does Andy have to do not finish what I trying to think, and then my thought, and then why do I have to hey, it's hard for me to say this part, but words I don't know how to put in words. I'm sorry, I'm lost. I forget what I say now. But it's with my language. I hate language. I hate it. It's stressful.
Diagnosis that nobody would ever agree on. So that was an issue, and he didn't like me saying that. And then I played him the same audio recording of my dad denying me food and medicine, and he wouldn't even respond to any of that. He was very upset.
Yeah.
It caught him in a lie. And then they wonder why Andy records phone calls of crisis services, APS, because I'm called a liar. And then
Let me going to be calling my friend to win on this. I can't listen to myself struggle language. It's always been my life problem. Third person's new, but are relatively. It's not new. It's not old. Always had trouble. but I always caught it. If that makes sense, I always caught it. It's like my left and right. It's my he and she. It's like it's like saying you when I'm referring to me. Things like that, or gender mix-ups, or location mix-ups, and I hate language. I really hate it. It just I don't like it, especially understanding people and then not understanding them, and then I don't like talk about this. This is such a struggle. It's a trigger for me for meltdown, and then being to get words out properly the way I think it, and then everybody sees how my writing's better, and then it's even harder than is to understand people that talk. Then I get frustrated because people don't understand what I'm trying to get at, or they don't hold me liable, or they misunderstand me. But yeah, I can talk all day long about weather and facts and everything that I'm able to store information on, and I'm able to keep your ear off. Even about my topic I love, I struggle on weather. Because then they start talking about convection, how thunderstorms develop, and then I get drawn to a detail that I want to give you more information about that topic or that term, and then I get lost in that, and I go back to a different topic, and then I go back to the first topic. I hate language.